So there was a time where novel fashion microtrends were taking over TikTok and Instagram, but now it's little whimsical tech gadgets. Like honestly, I can't even open my phone without seeing girlified tech creations like camera hair clips, Polly Pocket laptops, seashell laptops, even Tamagotchis, which is crazy. Now I am fully aware that if you haven't seen this or if you've not come across this kind of content on Instagram or TikTok, that it might all seem a bit crazy and ridiculous. Like it might seem crazy that you would wear something like this or create something like this. But I personally think there is a lot to say about the girlification of tech objects and specifically its relationship to personal style and personal taste and how we express that through fashion. And it's an emerging fashion trend that I found really interesting this week. So let's talk about it. But before we do that, if you are new here, I'm Grace. I'm a fashion technology journalist based in London, and I use this channel to give my niche fashion tech takes. I also write about this topic on Substack as well, so if you're into that, definitely subscribe and definitely go follow my Substack before we get into the video. And also I wanted to say before we do get into it, I am in a different backdrop to where I usually am. Usually I film in my London flat, but it is my birthday tomorrow, so I'm in a different location, just in case anyone was wondering or if anyone cares. That's why the setup is different. It is temporary. We'll be back to the normal setup next week, but just wanted to give that disclaimer. And like I said before, today I want to talk about the girlification of tech and what this means for personal style, fashion taste, and fashion in general. So if that sounds good to you, let's just get into it. So firstly, I want to start by explaining what this trend even is. So I actually only came across girly tech on social media about a month ago, but according to a handful of major publications like Forbes, Teen Vogue, The Cut, and many others, apparently this has been an emerging subculture since the start of the year. And a lot of these publications actually credit Oob Booby, so a young TikTok creator, for actually being the catalyst who started this trend. For instance, as Teen Vogue writes, the 22-year-old Londoner, whose real name is Anika Tan, went viral earlier this year for her mermaid cyberdeck, so essentially a DIY computer that she built out of a repurposed clutch, wood, gilt hardware, and a handful of chips and wires. It says the terminal's idiosyncratic look hit a nerve. Like, why shouldn't a laptop look like it was scavenged from a shipwreck? And why couldn't you make your own? Since this TikTok creator blew up, a whole load of other girly DIY tech creators have also amassed thousands of followers on social media. Some of my favorites include True Nala, Mesh Times, and also Computer Angel and Emma or Hun as well. It's worth noting that a lot of their content is centered around cyberdecks, which Forbes actually defines as custom-made computers with a cyberpunk-inspired design. They say, according to the Cyberdeck Cafe, most projects include a single board computer such as Raspberry Pi, but they can also include laptops, tablets, smartphones, and smartwatches. They also say the term was originally coined by William Gibson in the 1984 novel Neuromancer. However, as creators like Computer Angel or Emma or Hun highlights, girly tech doesn't have to be a cyberdeck specifically. I think it can be any kind of novel little tech gadget that you can customize to your own aesthetic preference. Now let's talk about how this subculture social media trend actually relates to fashion. I do actually want to first say that I am aware that we could analyze this movement in so many different other ways beyond just fashion. For instance, we could pin it down to the collective rejection of giant tech corporations and the fact that cute, girly tech is a way of taking back agency over our tech devices. We could also say it reflects the desire to experience the tech future we were promised in the Y2K futurism years, or that we were promised through all of the early 2000s media that we grew up watching that featured so much fun and imaginative tech. We could even argue that the girly tech trend is taking off because it's this new way to gain a following on social media, given the fact that this kind of content is very aesthetic and engaging. There are honestly so many different avenues with this that we could explore, but like I said, I'm really interested in the connection to fashion and how girly cute tech is becoming this whole new avenue to express personal style and personal taste. In this great Forbes piece, True Nala is quoted saying that she thinks this trend makes tech feel more playful, expressive, and personal instead of just purely utilitarian. She says for a long time, a lot of consumer tech has been designed to look sleek, minimal, and neutral, which also makes it feel cold and repetitive. She thinks that seeing electronics integrated into bag charms, accessories, and other feminine adjacent objects makes it all feel more inviting and reflective of personal taste. Similarly, in the same piece, Jenny Zhang, aka Computer Angel, so the creator of the viral chunky white hair clip that doubles as a functioning video camera, is also quoted. She says it's not so much about the tech trending feminine, it's more about designing tech that properly integrates into our lives. She says on the surface, making bag charms just looks like adding carabiners, but it's actually form that enables function. She says when I can hang it on my bag when it's cute, it represents me and I actually use it. Also, I found this dazed piece, and Zhang is also quoted saying that being able to add personal style to our tech gadgets is so important because in the past decade, we've seen everything turn more minimalist. She says it's more profitable for these big companies to have tech that can be sold to everyone, but because it can be sold to everyone, it's designed for no one. What I take away from these quotes is that there's been this collective realization that our tech gadgets don't have to be simple and homogenized and serious. They can be these playful, whimsical, fun pieces, and because of that, they can really be used to express our personal style and become extensions of our literal fashion outfits and aesthetic preferences that we choose in fashion. And through doing this, they kind of become this new way to spark joy, to romanticize our lives, and just have more fun expressing our personal style through other objects that we own. I'm pretty sure Devon Lee Carlson spoke about this in this podcast. I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's literally my guilty pleasure podcast. But basically, Devon was talking about how a cute phone case can be used to jazz up an outfit or make an outfit a bit more interesting. Essentially, I think we can see this as the same thing or same phenomenon. The only difference is that this is kind of one step further because the tech gadgets are designed in this fun, expressive way from the very start, and they can also be like hyper personalized to the person's specific fashion aesthetic. I think it is pretty obvious how, in theory, girly DIY tech could allow us to express our personal style and aesthetic preferences if we used or created these devices. But you might be wondering, how is this actually going to impact fashion? And how is it going to show up outside of the people who are already participating in this subculture online? Like, how is it actually going to impact everyday fashion? Well, I think that the simplest answer is that the girly DIY tech trend could impact fashion in the same way that the accessorizing your accessory trend has also impacted fashion. I think that the girly tech trend is the next level of this, or it's just a new subcategory within the trinket or accessorizing your accessory trend. Like, not only now can you have the keychain, but the keychain can have a built-in camera or some other built-in technological functionality. And who doesn't love that? If anything, it just gives bag charms or any other kind of accessory even more novel appeal. To be fair, we already are seeing this in mass fashion. Like, we've just seen the Tamagotchi and Casetify collab. And also, I think I mentioned this in my cute tech video, but basically WGSN even predicted that kawaii culture is set to take off even more in tech this year and bring this unserious and cute vibe to technology gadgets in the West. To me, this all makes sense if you also think about how big analog has been this year. Like, everyone's loving analog activities, analog media. They're also loving like analog retro tech, like digicams, iPods, wired headphones. When you couple that with the bag charm trend and how big this has been, it's really no wonder like why this subculture and subgenre has emerged. Like, cute, girly, DIY little tech objects fit into the current state of culture so well. So it's no wonder that it's really resonating with people and they want to use them to customize themselves, and they want these customized, personalized devices. Like, this piece in NDTV sums up the current zeitgeist mood really well and why these kind of novel tech pieces would really resonate. It says, for many younger creators, cyberdecks function less like a practical replacement for a laptop and more like an extension of personality. Like, they're the tech equivalent of customizing your bedroom, your tote bag, or your Pinterest board. And in an age where every device looks nearly identical, individuality itself has become aspirational. Having said all of this, I do also want to say that beyond just categorizing the girly tech trend into the existing trinket trend in fashion, I do think that it could potentially have some even deeper implications for the future of fashion as well. Like, we have to acknowledge that this movement allows us to personalize our tech objects like never before. Like, just as I said in my mini reel on this topic, just as our fashion choices communicate aspects of our identity before we even speak, our technology choices are becoming another way to do the same. Therefore, the earbuds you choose, the tech bag charm you wear, they're all a new way to send subtle signals about your personality, taste, and attention to detail. Therefore, looking ahead, perhaps we may enter a future where offering a variety of aesthetics as well as functionality are valued and prioritized equally, regardless of what the product is. And because of this, we may see more tech products designed specifically for fashion-conscious consumers, and more fashion products designed with fun technology integrated into them. Maybe this could mean that we start to see more fashion-conscious creative tech brands like Icotech or Nothing crop up, or it could mean that big tech giants start to offer more ways to personalize our tech products to accommodate to the big variety of aesthetic preferences that are out there. Or it could also mean that big fashion brands start creating like novel charms with fun tech in them. Of course, there are so many possibilities, and it is literally impossible to know the full extent that this will all have an impact on fashion and tech. But I do think that there are clear advantages if big tech brands started creating products in this way, and also if fashion brands started incorporating tech in this way, because it is just going to accommodate more consumers in a fun and cool way. Overall, to conclude, I am just really interested to see where the girly DIY tech trend goes, and to see like to what extent it will have an impact on fashion, and to see if it does enter mainstream fashion and become like massively adopted. Like, it'll be really interesting to see at the end of the year if it has reached mass adoption or not, or if people are truly wearing these novel tech gadgets as fashion accessories or not. But that was really everything that I wanted to talk about this week and for this video. Definitely let me know what you think of this trend, whether you would want to participate in this trend, whether you think it's really going to take off in fashion or not. I would really love to hear your thoughts, and I really love reading your comments. Definitely subscribe to this channel, like this video as well if you want to. Remember to subscribe to my What's Fashion Technology Substack, and I will see you in the next one.